Peace, y'all. Before we get started, I felt compelled to remind everyone to stay safe and stay abreast of all the atrocities happening around the world. The people of Palestine, Tigray, Congo, Sudan, Haiti, and countless other territories are currently fighting for their rights and their lives. And if you're choosing to take action, please take every precaution you can. Stay hydrated, stay in groups, cover your face, and please, more than anything, don't lose hope. I've been leaving links to organizations and resources at the bottom of every episode description for a good minute, so please go check those out for places to donate and to find ways to take action today. We're not free until all oppressed people in the States and abroad are free. Much love, stay strong, and stay dangerous. What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is New Orleans rapper Countess. We spoke about House of the Dragon, Downton Abbey, the Lupin the Third series, Beast of the Southern Wild, combining her love of pop culture and anime with her love of music, the art of archiving and discovery, playing different characters in her music, and the creative process behind her latest EP, Con Art. Come fuck with us. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Real Notes. It's hot as fuck. It's not as hot. We got like in Jersey, rain happened. It's not fucking 95 degrees anymore. Now it's just 85 degrees. Cool, you know. Like I'm not melting into the concrete, but you know, I'm off a Six Flags hangover. My sister and I went to Six Flags yesterday, so I'm like nitroed and El Toro'd out. But we here, we out. Feeling green, CineMasai, got a lot of names, do a lot of shit outside, inside, all sides. And yeah, we were just talking about this off camera, but I'm with somebody today that's been the homie for some years now. And I've been, you know, like a fan of her music and a fan of her perspective. And just like all, like we share a lot of, like, we're both nerds. I was gonna try to sugarcoat it, but we're both nerds. And you know, like she has a great EP that's out right now called Con Art. Let me see if I can go find it because I need to damn, where'd it go? I just had it. Damn. This has never happened to me before. Anyway, we got Louisiana's finest here. Countess Low is here. Anime aficionado. She's got a fucking storm figure in the background. Y'all can't see it, but you know, like this has been a long time coming, and so I'm really, like I was telling you before, I'm really happy you reached out. So, Lo, thank you so much for being here. It means the world, honestly.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. It means so much to me too.
Nah, man, it's like, yeah, like I can't even remember when we first started. I can't even remember when we first met at this point. It has to have been like maybe like 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, and it was some geek shit. I felt like we were having, like, there was just an overall conversation happening on Twitter. I don't know if it was about like the Avatar or what it was. It was something dealing with cartoons though, and we shared like a very similar like opinion, and we started like talking in jokes, and I'm like, oh man, this guy is so cool. So it has been some years too.
Yeah, nah, for sure. And yeah, nah, like we got a bunch of mutuals like Jonathan Cloud, Johnny Unitas, like a bunch of other people, you know, like all homies of mine. And you know, like but even forgetting all of that, like, you know, like you're here for a reason, your shit's dope. Like this is gonna be, I'm excited about this. Yeah, I've been thinking about this since I was putting my questions together a couple days ago. So let me not bullshit. I'm gonna ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here, which is what was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
So I like to rewatch a lot of stuff.
Me too.
The latest two things that I've been rewatching Lupin the Third, A Woman Called Fujiko Mine, and I've been watching Downton Abbey. I know those are two like different things, but I love like pulling references and just like going back and watching things. Like I love Downton Abbey because it's so visual. So I've been rewatching that just for like the interior design and like the fashion alone. And I think with Lupin, I could constantly rewatch Lupin, whether it's like one of the specific seasons or it's just like a random episode of Lupin. And then it's so much. So I could constantly pull like different instrumentals, different colors. So I think I can't tell you, like, I guess I'm watching House of the Dragon. So that's the only new thing right now I'm watching. But I typically tend to just go back and watch a bunch of old stuff that like I've rewatched or I've seen before. But besides from that, I think the only new thing I'm watching right now is House of the Dragon. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, so I've been enjoying it. I'm a little disappointed in it, but you know, I feel like they're doing an okay job with it. We'll see.
That's good, because I saw you. I know you were upset about a character getting killed. So here's the thing with me. I like, not to say I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones. I've seen 3 episodes of Game of Thrones my entire life. I haven't seen any of House of the Dragon, so I'm as completely out my comfort zone. Like, please tell me, just tell me anything. Like, you run point on that shit. Like, tell me what's going on with that.
Well, what's happening right now, and I'm not sure because like the show is still developing, but like maybe about a week ago, the author George R. R. Martin, he did like this rant on his website, I guess because he knew that they were going to start to like kind of combine characters or change the stories. And in this like latest episode, we see they're starting to combine characters. So in the book Fire and Blood, there's a character named Nettles, and Nettles is the only Black character. So she wasn't like a character that like they made Black like they did with the Valarians. She was actually like Black in the book, and she is a dragon rider. So pretty much what they're doing now, I don't know which one of them it is, but they're giving her dragon, they're setting it up to pretty much combine her with one of another character. They're combining her with another character that they made Black for the TV show. So it's kind of man, we're losing this badass character, and they're just like clumping her into somebody else's story. And maybe they're doing that, maybe they're not doing that. I feel like I can't tell yet, but I'm kind of disappointed because like that's what like, you know, the street's saying that's what they're gonna do. So it's kind of man, like that's gonna suck. We're gonna lose such a good character. But you know, I know that happens in TV shows. Sometimes it's just like, oh, here we go again. Like that's what I get.
Yeah, I mean, like I get it. You know, like I can think of so many examples where that shit's happened, like across movies and TV. The first one that popped up in my head was Rue in the Hunger Games, because like I know like in the books it's like up for interpretation whether she's like actually Black or not. But like in the movie, she was Amanda Stenberg, I think, and you know, like of course, like she got I think. I don't remember. It's also not my ministry, so hopefully I didn't fuck that up.
Mine's either.
But you know, like I don't know, like we all know what it is. Like, you know, like you could even look at like Heimdall in the Marvel movies. You know, like him being Black and how everyone, you know, like there was like a huge like, oh man, like why'd they make him Black? Like why can't we? What you know? Somebody had to be like, why can't we make Shaft white? Like why can't we have Michael Cera play Shaft? Like fuck you. Like, you know, like people don't be understanding what that means. So like that's, but like I say that to say I get the frustration of like combining the two characters, and I don't love that either. So
I love source material. I'm just like, man, why can't they just stick to the material? But I get it. It's like, you know, you have to change it for TV shows. But like, I'm big on research and stuff like that. So I feel like I stick so much to source material. When I see people like stray away from it, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? You are ruining this. But it's okay. I've been watching that, and I was watching Interview with a Vampire. I enjoyed that a lot. So that's like the 2 latest new things that I've been watching. But I watch like a ton of old stuff, especially cartoons.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to get into that. Like, but before we get into the cartoons specifically, like I didn't want to forget Downton Abbey, because once again, not like I like Downton Abbey. I'm not like a super fan. I've seen part of one of the movies that came out recently. I also just love Maggie Smith. Like anything Maggie Smith's in, I'm gonna watch it because I love Maggie Smith. But talk to me a bit about like how far into Downton Abbey are you? Why do you like Downton Abbey? Like what's your deal with that?
So I love period pieces and dramas. Not just Downton Abbey. Like I love books as well. So a lot of the stuff like period dramas and stuff that I like to watch, it stems from me reading books, like Anna Karenina, or Carmilla, like the vampire book, and living with my grandmother. So I did, like in Louisiana, it's very common even if like your parents are well off, you might live with your grandparents just because it's a cultural thing. So I spent a lot of times with both of my grandmothers, and they didn't really have cable. So it's like the only
Right.
channel you have that is like constantly showing things is channel
Mhm.
12. So I ended up watching Downton Abbey like after like I came off of like a book reading binge, and my daddy was like, you can't read these type of books. You 14. Like I was reading like Gone with the Wind, Memoirs of a Geisha. And he was like, you gotta stop letting her read these books. Like, you know, he didn't really understand it. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna just chill out on the books. And I started to like watch Channel 12 more, and just know, like, you know how it was back in the day. Not much was on TV. So it's like I started to see Downton Abbey, and like I'm like, oh, this is very scandalous. Like they have all this drama going on, but it's so proper. Like it's just I like how messy it is. Like all of like these little shows like Downton Abbey, and like I said, like there's a movie called Love and Friendship, or like even Bridgerton. I love it. Like I love how they deal with scandals. Something about it, it reminds me of like my grandmothers, like these very proper women, but they're really like so scandalous, and they're like hoochies. So that's one of the reasons I love like period pieces like Downton Abbey. I love the fashion. I kind of love like the way like they're so snarky and they snap at each other, but like it's so proper. And even though like I feel like I grew up kind of like, I don't know how to describe it down here, but everybody's proper, but they're not really proper. So it's like they'll get you together quick, but it is like something like that reminds me of my childhood, like growing up, going to Catholic school, having to always be dressed up. Like I grew up with these grandparents, but my grandmothers wouldn't even go to the grocery store if they weren't fixed up. One of my mama, as I call her, she was like this fabulous woman. I remember after Katrina, she had all these hats. Like our house flooded out, and she had all these hats with like, which is bad. Like I don't want to get canceled, but she had like all these furs and like all these hats with like taxidermy birds on them. And I remember like when she was doing her insurance claim, they didn't believe that she had all this stuff. Like, no way you have all this stuff. And she had to pull all the stuff out, even though like it was all molded, to prove to the insurance company like she had like all these furs and like all this like crazy, like all this feathered stuff that was like real birds and stuff like that. And so like I guess I was real attracted to like shows like Downton Abbey because it reminded me of a part of my culture that's like not very like big or extravagant like that, but it's like, oh, like I could relate to this, but also too, like I'm really drawn to this because I feel like to a certain degree, like older Southern Black women, they have that same type of like sentiment that they have in Downton Abbey. So it was just like, it's fun to watch. It's like, oh, it's so scandalous, but at the same time, it's polite TV. So if my daddy sees me watching this, he's not going to think anything of it. Meanwhile, it's like they're doing like the most outrageous shit. Like there's a character, she was sleeping with like an ambassador and he died in her bed, and they had to like, her and her sisters had to like drag him out and get him back into his room. So like I really was drawn to that, how like it's able to be so like outrageous, but at the same time it's still like calm. And I think a lot of period pieces are like that, and like romances, they're very calm and like outrageous at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. Like, have you you ever see The Favorite before? It came out like like that, like that. That's my speed. I love that type of shit too.
Yeah,
like,
that shit is outrageous.
It's fucking outrageous. Like it's like, it really is just like, it's just like these, for anybody who hasn't, I feel like I talked about it on here before, but like anybody who hasn't seen The Favorite, like it's just about this, like it's about this queen who has an advisor who's also her lover. The queen is played by Olivia Colman. The advisor is played by Rachel Weisz. And then her cousin, I think Emma Stone's her cousin, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's like her cousin literally falls off the back of a wagon and winds up at the palace. And it's like Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone fighting for the queen's affections, and they're kind of being like catty and fucking like they're going out and like shoot skeet on the lawn, and they'll be fucking shooting each other with the guns. They're like, it's like the tease fucking scalding, y'all. Like it's so, I don't know, like like Lo was saying, just like that type of like ambiance and atmosphere is like, it's just cool to me when, because like the assumption is always going to be that people see that and it's like, oh, like they're all so prim and proper and everyone's got to stick up their ass, like nobody knows how to handle, nobody knows, you know, like these are like, they don't feel real. But then it's like you really dig into it, and like you said, these are all just like petty, obsessed people who just like are just as messy as everybody else. It's just like it's almost like a humbling moment, but it's also just like, I don't know, it's just like good, salacious, tasty drama. Like
Yeah.
it just works. I don't know, but you know, like to me, like in recent years, the favorites kind of become like a gold standard for me when it comes to shit like that. And like even like I didn't watch it a ton, but like I've seen a handful of episodes of like Dynasty or something like that, you know, like Dynasty was very much like that. And you know, like both my parents watched Sex and the City, which is kind of, it's not exactly the same, obviously. It's like super duper contemporary, at least for that time. But like, I don't know, I'm also attracted to stuff like that, you know. I like that type of shit. So
Yeah, me too. The favorite, I felt like when it ended, when it's like just the way that they do things, when she made her get on her knees and like step on her after she saw her step on that rabbit, it's like, oh man, she had everything. And then it's like, nah, you really here getting stepped on. Oh, because like you played a dangerous game. But yeah, I love that type of TV. I feel like, you know, it's nice. It's always refreshing because even though it's like, yeah, they have to live in like the confines of like what femininity was during those time periods. It's like it's a movie or it's a book, so really you can make it whatever you want to make it. And it's like you see that they do that so well. So it's like a outlet to see women be fabulous in a different way, you know. And I love Sex in the City too. I feel like I get irritated with Sex in the City because it is, like you said, like contemporary. It's like some things like I know today I wouldn't do as a woman. And I'm like, why are these bitches doing this? Like these marriages so crazy. But I enjoy it because I know like I'm not that type of like crazy or like, you know, and then too it's a TV show. It's like it's a way you get to live vicariously through them. I feel the same way about like that and Girlfriends. And then just like the fashion, I feel like, you know, like I said, I love just watching stuff for references. But it's like you can just really just watch Sex in the City or and Girlfriends and just like pull so many like clothing references and just like see them wearing different stuff. And it's like, damn, like how did you have this? But of course it's a TV show. So I do love like those type of shows for the fashion. And I like period pieces for the fashion as well because in my personal life, I'm into like archives and museum work. So it's like, I love to see like, oh, this is so cool. Like they got that just right. Or like what liberties they took when they were like doing the designs. So
because you've been working at a museum like or like in museums for like quite a while. I don't know exactly how long, but like you've been doing that for a minute.
Yeah.
So that's like that's like like it like appeals like directly to your sensibilities, which is why it's great that you brought up Lupin, because like that's also like that's like all period piece like drama stuff. Like it's heist shit, you know. Like it's I feel like Lupin was I feel like Lupin's like foundational for a lot of anime fans. It's kind of like it's one of those gold standard ones that like you've like if you like anime, you've seen it. Like it's like up there with like the Bebops and the Dragon Ball Z's and the One Pieces. Like it's you know, like obviously it's a little mature is the wrong word, but it's not like it's just like a little more not even I guess sophisticated. I don't know how to put it, but it's just like a little more elegant, I guess is the word I'd use to but like talk to me about like how often talk to me about your relationship with Lupin and like how and like where it's at now, especially with the rewatch.
Oh man, I love Lupin. I have like me and my partner, we have like the largest collection of like Lupin DVDs, mangas, figures. I really got into Lupin. Like I said, like it's one of those things with film and TV. I love to like live vicariously through women. So like I'm very attracted, like I said, things like Gone with the Wind. One of the things that attracted me to Lupin was Fujiko Mine. So I remember being younger. I'm the second to youngest in my family. All of my siblings are older. Like all my siblings are in there, like late 30s, mid 40s. So my older brother, he was a huge weeb, and I wouldn't always pay attention to what he was watching, but Lupin caught me. Like the first time I saw Fujiko Mine doing like getting over on them niggas, I'm like, what is this that he's watching? And like I just sat down and I started to watch it, and it's like a beautiful combination. Like I said, we're referencing things, the way they're able to pull in like history, all this like art and these artifacts, like you said, it's real sophisticated on top of just being like Lupin is like real goofy, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like the perfect blend. And I mean, I know like it wasn't meant for children, but like I've been watching it probably since I was about like 8 or 7, just caught into like all of the history. Just like I love the colors too. Like I feel like the palette that they used, especially like on the older episodes, like it's such like a cool, like off, like it's kind of funky, but like the palette is real cool, like the color scheme that they use. But I just love like Lupin because like I said, I could constantly go back and like just pull so many references from it. And like every episode is like they're always up to some crazy shit. Like and he's really pulling it off. I like Lupin. And another anime like I like that is Glow 13, but like the assassin guy. My partner, he got me into that. And I'm like, oh man, this nigga really be like he be doing some crazy stuff. Like, how did he pull this off? I think like I like with heist and stuff like that. It's just like pretty much the writing aspect of it. It's like how every episode y'all write, y'all able to just write and create, like him doing something witty or something smart. And it even got me into like reading the books because I've read some of like the Gentleman Thief books, like the Arsène Lupin books, the books that Lupin are based on. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, you know, how did he, like, who thought about this? Who was able to write this? Like, I need to get smart like this. You know, like it's amazing that those type of people exist. It reminds me of the jewel thief Doris Payne. Like I love her story, but how she was in I don't know if she was in like Germany or she was in Monaco, and she was trying to get away from the police, and she knew they were going to catch her, but she sold all of the diamonds into like the inside of her sleeve. So when they took her to jail and they're looking for the diamonds, they can't find it. They give her back her clothes. She walks out with the diamonds. And that's one of the things I find like so interesting about Lupin is like they're able to like deliver something like that every episode. It's like so fascinating.
Yeah. That shit is so tough. Like, because like I mean, like there's like 18 million different versions of Lupin. There's series, there's movies, there's manga. What was the first one that really got you? Because I think like this is normally the time when I'd ask like what's your first movie theater experience. But I think for you, since you're so stuck on this and being like 8, 9 years old, let's go with this. So like what's the version of Lupin that really like caught you?
Oh, I don't know. I know when I really knew I was going to be cooked on Lupin was the first time I seen the Castle of Cagliostro. I think that's for everybody. And just hearing like that instrumental, that like hearing that, I was like, oh, this is so tight. Cause like I've always been into like music and hip hop, and like that's one of the things I love about Lupin. I pull a lot of samples from Lupin there. Like he has like the best soundtracks. But I think the first time I seen that and just like the opening to that, I'm like, oh, I am so hooked on this. Like I'm gonna keep watching this. But I felt like it was that movie. I do feel like there's a part like in some of the 90 ones, because like a lot of the Lupin that I have seen, like I'll watch it in sub, but I've seen so much of it in dub just because it was dubbed so early. I hate some of the ones where Krillin is the voice actor. So whoever is Krillin's voice actor in the 90s, he was Lupin's voice actor for a while as well. And I can't really get into those, but I feel like the first time I seen like Castle of Cagliostro, I was like, oh man, this is so tight, because it kind of put it in a different perspective from seeing like the TV shows. Because like, you know, the TV shows, they kind of move fast. He's real silly, like all different type of stuff is happening. But like with Castle of Cagliostro, you have this one story and it's like they're building it out, and it's like the music is so beautiful. I feel like it was the music with Lupin too that really got me hooked into wanting to see more. And those soundtracks are like perfect. I feel like anybody that wants to sample music, like you're trying to make some beats, you really can't figure it out, like just go YouTube Lupin the Third soundtrack, any movie, and they have the best. But as of lately, the 3 films that I feel like I've enjoyed the most, they're newer films. I enjoyed Fujiko's Lies, the blood I think it's called A Bloodbath of Goemon. And then I think the other one is Jigen's Tombstones. So those 3 I really enjoyed a lot. So those are my 3 like recent favorite movies. Those are probably made like around 2012. The latest one maybe like, I don't know, the early 2020s or something. I don't know. But those are like the 3 recent ones that I really enjoy. But I feel like any Lupin fan is like Castle of Cagliostro. I also like, I'm trying to think about the name. I think it's called like The Mystery of Twilight Gemini. I have it, but I'm just throwing this out there because like I'm such a big geek. it's the only film where Lupin and Fujiko has a sex scene. So if you can find a DVD with a sex scene, it's worth having. But I like that one as well.
That's fire. I think I'm not gonna lie, the last one I saw was Lupin the Third, the first, the CG one.
Oh
That
yeah,
must have
that's
come
cool.
out in like 2020. Yeah, no, I watched it like, yeah, like I think I found it somewhere online and just ran it. And like I think so, like I think that one's supposed to be like the prequel. I think that's like supposed to be the first Lupin adventure ever. But yeah, like that was the most recent one I watched. But like otherwise, I like, you know, like I'll go back and watch Castle of Cagliostro every once in a while and just kind of like I'll just find any of them. I love all the characters, and you know, I feel like most people know this, but Castle of Cagliostro is the first movie Hayao Miyazaki ever made. You know, like that was like his first like big directorial thing. So, you know, like we have Lupin the Third to thank for fucking Hayao Miyazaki, you know, so like it's pretty important.
Yeah, and it's
I'd say.
crazy. They made it in like, I don't want to lie, but like they made it like within a week. I don't know if it was like 7 days or 5 days, but they made that movie in like a crazy amount of time. That's another thing that makes it so like great. It's like, how did he do this? Like they're really like cutting up.
Yeah, like yeah, I don't know, man. Like things were. I was just talking to my sister about this yesterday because we were talking about Jaws, because my sister loves Jaws and watches it every year. You know, it's just like you know, like back then people really needed to like, you had to be on your P's and Q's with everything, because there was like, you could do stuff in post, but like obviously you didn't have like computers like that, like CG wasn't a thing. So like, you know, like if you're like directing a movie, like everything needs to be shot blocked perfectly. Everything like you know, like if things aren't angled properly, they're gonna look like shit. Like everything needs to be like, not to say that every movie back then was like this amazing perfect diamond sculpture of a thing, but the best ones that hold up because they're so well put together, because they had to be, there was no other option. And I think Cagliostro is a really great example of that, because you know, like hand-drawn animation outside of like basically anime at this point is like almost passe. You know, like here in the States, like everything, you know, like everything's CG. Like outside of like there might be like one or two Western things that get the hand-drawn treatment, and it's for people like us who give a shit about that sort of thing, you know. But like, you know, like just looking at the way, you know, like, or something like The Boy and the Heron, like the latest Miyazaki movie, you know, like stuff like that, you know. So it's fun to just kind of, like you said, the referencing, just like for me, like that's just like, I'm also like, I'm no archivist, but I just love, you know, like that's why I do this. I love the history, I love the context, I love, like I just love being able to like tie up threads and draw connection, like that's, I live for that shit. So, you know, like do doing that through anime, manga, film, all this stuff, like it's, I don't know, it's all connected, and it's beautiful to me.
It really is all connected. And I do feel like it's one of those things. I hope like more people start, like, especially adults, start to enjoy animation, because I feel like hand-drawn animation, it has so much soul, you know, but it's like still like that stigma. And I know like now the more like we get more people who are in the media that start to like break those type of like walls down, you know, that anybody can enjoy anime and you can like pull stuff from it, animation. You can pull it and make it anything you want. It's such like a fluent media. I feel like that's why it transitions so well into like making music, because it's like it's so much stuff that you can pull from like animation and put into music as well. They're both like very like creative and like have like a lot of movement. So
Right.
like you can constantly pull. And I feel like since I've been making music, that's one of the things I always go back to, like Lupin. I pull, like I said, I pull a ton of samples. If it's like I'm trying to rap from a certain point of view, because I do typically do that. If you go through my music, you can kind of tell like my personality switches. But like, oh, I can always go back to like rapping like I'm Fujiko Mine. What would Fujiko do? This is gonna make for like such an interesting song. That, or like I'm into Bond, James Bond as well a lot, and just pulling stuff from there too.
Yeah, no, I'm happy you brought that up, because I know one of the songs on Con Art. I think it's a 237 Rue Saint Henri. There's a sample from How to Steal a Million at the end, which is really fucking cool. Like that, like, you know, like Audrey Hepburn, that was super hard. Like like being able to like point that out and just be like, damn, like I know that, you know. But like but yeah, like it was so like yeah, like that was apparent to me, just like going through all going through like as much of your music as I could find within the last couple days. But before we get to that, as you started to get older and start to develop your own tastes even more and branch out into animation and all the other ephemera that we all fuck with, do you remember what the first capital M movie you saw was? Like something that really just like connected with you on like an emotional, artistic, or spiritual level, like something that was like more than just like 90 minutes of pure entertainment, like something that, I don't know.
Oh, it's so much stuff. I feel like, oh, this is such a tough question. And I really don't know. Like I'm sitting in my living room right now. I wish I can show you how many DVDs and movies I have, and like I don't want to say the wrong one. Like I don't want to say something and be like, oh, I take that back, because it's something else that I connected with more.
There's no wrong answers here. Don't even trip.
I don't know. You know, like I feel like and this is so off from everything that we're talking about, but a movie I connected with so much was this movie called Beast of the Southern Wild.
Oh yeah, the Kavanza Wallace movie. I know that
one.
Yeah,
I connected with it so much because I feel like it's one of those things, and I try not to talk about this because like I feel like it is like trauma dumping, but like I love like stuff like that because it's like I felt like I could relate to all that being from Southern Louisiana, even though like this is like a fantasy movie. I love like watching them take like pretty much like the shit that happens during hurricanes, and like also too kind of how like people live in Southern Louisiana and like kind of just make it very like whimsical, even though it's like this is a disaster movie. It was very, very whimsical, and like it gave me like a sense of peace. I can't explain it because like people watching be like, I don't even know what the fuck that movie is about, but like I don't know why, like it gave me like just like this, like after watching it, like I felt like I had peace because it's something like I don't think that people really like we don't really we kind of see our lives like people from like Southern Louisiana. You have before Katrina and after Katrina, you know, so like how people break stuff. Yeah, you break stuff down into like, oh, before Christ or after that.
Yeah.
So like seeing something like that, I don't know, it just gave me like a sense of peace, and like that movie always stuck with me. Now I can't say it's one of my favorite movies, but sometimes like when I think about movies that kind of like washed over my emotions, that's one of the movies like I do think about. I'm like, man, I think about this time to time. I can't say it's one of my favorite movies, but it is something like how you asked that question, and that was the first movie that came to my mind.
There you go. Yeah, so I'm trying to think. So I saw it when it came out. This must have been in like the late 2000s. Like I was either in high school or college when it came out. I haven't seen it since, but like all I remember about it is the way it looked and the way it felt. And I also walked away from it feeling that kind of sense of peace. Like being somebody who's like not from and has never been to New Orleans, like I just, you know, like you can, like even if I didn't have all the context, like I could feel the emotion behind all of it, and the little girl's performance was just like, she was just amazing, you know. And then I think a couple years later she played Annie in that Annie movie with Cameron Diaz, and then we never saw her again. I hope she's doing all right.
Yeah,
but
I hope she's doing all right too.
Yeah, but like that, but you know, you talking about the whimsy in the middle of disaster, like when I first saw it, I was reminded so much of a movie like Pan's Labyrinth, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And like that movie also does the exact same shit. You know, like the little girl in there is just like, she's so obsessed with fairy tales that she kind of turns this whole, like they're like in the middle of like the Spanish Civil War and like World War II, and she's just like dealing, you know, she's dealing with the fawn and the fairies and the man, you know, like just like stuff like that, and just like the way stories and the way that like whimsy and imagination can really carry like children in particular through these like awful traumatic times. Like I'm, you know, like Pan's Labyrinth is maybe like top 5 favorite movies of all time for me personally, but it's not one I can watch.
Cool movie.
It's not one I can watch all the time. It makes me really sad, but like in like it's like it makes me sad in like a happy way, you know. It really is like a fairy tale for grown-ups. And I think I think Beasts of the Southern Wild is a movie that's also like a fairy tale for grown-ups. And I think like stuff like that doesn't always connect when it first comes out, but like it finds who it needs to find. And you know, like even if it's not your favorite movie, like it stuck with you, like like it left an impression, especially since, you know, like it's about like where you're from. So, you know, that's always fascinating to me.
It's like I love too, like how you brought up Pan's Labyrinth. I love like movies with a ton of story in them. Like I come from like a storytelling culture, so like Pan's Labyrinth. I love that movie, A Tale of Tales. I don't know if you ever seen it before, but it's like 5 different fairy tales happening, and they're kind of like dark fairy tales, but that's a good one too. I love movies that can really, really tell stories without like pushing that they're telling the story. And like I think like with Pan's Labyrinth, one of the things I wish like I could find like an English version of that movie because like I don't know why like so much is going on. I can't always keep up with everything. Like I know too, it is like kind of like a movie to where like the little girl was dealing with a lot because wasn't her mom sick as well?
Yeah, her mom was sick and she winds up dying like halfway through. And she winds up dying because the fawn tells her to put the mandrake, the ginger root, under her bed, and then the general dad finds it and he's like, nah, kill that shit. And they kill it, and then she dies. And it's like I anyway.
So, like I love that though, like because it is one of those things I feel like too, the older that you get, it's like you do need a little bit of like magic. Everybody needs like a little bit of whimsy in their life. You know, the thing that always sticks with me in that movie, and I feel like this is so off topic, but it's like the monster man with the
Yo, my fault. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to shout out the all new Real Notes Patreon page real quick. If you're looking for ways to connect and directly support the podcast, the Real Notes Patreon is the best way to do so. For as little as $5 a month, you can gain early day before access to every forthcoming episode of Real Notes, as well as an invite to the Real Notes Discord server, where you can talk to others about the latest and greatest in movies and music, come through for some listening sessions, and talk about whatever else is on your mind. I know I'm gonna be talking a bunch. If you feel like coming up off a little bit more, you could get cool exclusive content like audio from Real Notes Live and Real Talk interviews. Those will be exclusive to patrons and ticket holders moving forward. Access to retro versions of my 60-second Minute Maid movie reviews, and even a monthly writing and podcasting workshop hosted by me. Regular episodes will still be available on a weekly basis anywhere you get your podcasts, but if you want the extras, you gotta come out them pockets a bit. Check us out at patreon.com/realnotes. That's REELNOTES. I appreciate your consideration and support more than you know. Now let's get back to talking.
It's like when she walks up to that table and eats that grape. Like that's like the scariest thing.
Like, see, okay, I'm happy we're here. So like, that scene's crazy. Like just the way like the scene happens, like she eats it, the fairies are all like, oh no, he's about to come, and it's like his hands are on the table and he just like lifts all the fingers up individually and then puts the eyeball. So the guy the guy in that suit, his name's Doug Jones. He's a legendary fucking like actor, creature makeup person. He was actually, I learned this 2 years ago when they used to do those Mac Tonight commercials for McDonald's. He was the guy in the Mac Tonight suit, which I didn't know, but Doug Jones has done that. He was Abe Sapien in the Hellboy movies. He was the creature in Shape of Water. He's worked with Guillermo del Toro a lot.
Okay.
You know.
And see, I didn't know that, but you can tell like he put like a lot of energy, how he thought it out, because it's like it's not a lot of movement that he was doing, but to make that so creepy.
Yeah, like that's his whole thing. He's just like the dude in the creature suit. He's just one of those actors, and he's so dope. I'm a huge fan of his. So like, you know, like, and I think he's also the Fawn in Pan's Labyrinth too. I could be wrong, but I think he's also the Fawn. They just bury him in makeup and he just does his thing. He's an incredible actor. But yeah, like that scene is just, and then he starts chasing her down the hallway. She's gotta draw the chalk on the gotta draw the door with the chalk, and so creepy, so terrifying. Like that movie is so fire. But I didn't want to get away from Beast of the Southern Wild, because yeah, like I've been meaning to rewatch Beast of the Southern Wild too, because I haven't seen it in almost like it's been like 15 years. So it's one that's been on my rewatch list for a minute. So I'm happy you reminded me it exists.
Yeah, it's a real cool movie. I like it too because I feel like one of the things that I struggle with, like with making music, is my voice. Like my voice and my accent. I feel like I'm always in like a constant struggle with my accent, trying to say stuff a certain way, especially when you have a hard accent. And I don't feel like I have like the hardest one, but when like I'm making music, I struggle with that. And I like watching that movie because the adults, they have like these strong Southern Louisiana accents, and I'm like, how they're talking, like how are they making this work for them to where like it doesn't sound crazy or like people can understand what you're saying. So I love going back and watching anything kind of dealing with Southern Louisiana just to see how like the actors pretty much keep their accents with still what it making sense. Like, you know, you're shooting a movie, so everybody has to hit this and like everybody has to understand what you're saying. Like, how do you still keep this accent and still like have it be a certain way to where like everybody can catch on to what you're saying too? So that's another thing I like about that movie. They did a really good job with keeping their like natural accents, but you know, working it into the film.
Yeah, you know, like that's important because like all these different regions, like New Orleans in particular, like y'all culture is so rich down there. They're like it's you know, like it's worth preserving, and it's not just worth preserving, it's worth like embracing and like seeing people really like embrace that and be put on a platform to be able to like showcase that to people who aren't from there. Like, you know, like there's always going to be discussions and conversations of like people seeing that and appropriation, whatever the fuck, that doesn't matter. But like, but like to me, it's like that's one of the reasons I love movies, right? Like it really, like, you know, like whether it's something like Lupin or whether it's something like Beast of the Southern Wild, like they take you places that you either don't want to go to because maybe you're afraid to fly on a plane, or you just can't get to because you can't afford or something, you know, like it's like it's like the cheapest form of travel you can take, you know, just like taking things in. Like that's why I mean, like I'm right outside New York City, but like before I started spending a lot of time there, like that's one of the reasons I love watching movies about stuff in like New York. And like, of course, like I talked about this a couple times on here, but like a lot of things that we know as like hood classics, like in the 90s, most of those were taking place in California. Like I didn't go to California for the first time until 2018. So like I go there with like, oh, like Ice Cube getting Fat Burger and the It Was a Good Day video, or like who got snaps on the petrol from Menace to Society, or, you know, fucking Morris Chestnut down in the milk while they're outside and fucking Boys in the Hood. You know, like these are the things, like this is my image. This is my image of California. You know, like it was like built by these movies. And then something, you know, like New Jersey Drive. Like I know people who've never heard of New Jersey who like they've seen New Jersey Drive, and like that's their image of Jersey. Like Paid in Full is someone's vision of New York. Beast of the Southern Wild is somebody's vision of New Orleans. You know, like it's like that's once again like making connections, and like that's, I feel like I'm rambling right now, but yeah.
That's so true, and that's what like I feel like I can draw so much from like film and just like TV shows and stuff into music, because it's like it gives you these different perspectives. And it's like as long as it's done well, you're right, you could go anywhere. Like I sound like the reading rainbow guy, but you can like literally go anywhere and see anything and get these different perspectives and learn about stuff that you necessarily probably wouldn't have even thought about. And that's why like I feel like when like I watch things, I like to digest it. That's like the like curator in me. Like I look at stuff and I'm like, oh man, like I'll hear one thing on a movie, then it's like I'm googling, now I'm into like a wormhole, a hole, and like I'm learning about merkins. Like that just recently happened to me where like I found out what a merkin is because I was watching, I don't know what I was watching, but like I don't know, I don't know what it was, but they were talking about like her having like a wig or like not having pubic hair. And then I just started like doing my research. I'm like, oh shit, bitches really were out here like putting lace fronts on, like shaving their hair off, or like wearing wigs down there. So like I do get deep into it. Like I hear one thing in a movie, now like I'm doing a bunch of research, and now I got like 10 books on
I hear you, son. Like that shit is so like, yeah, like I've been thinking about it like myself. Like I watch movies the way other people read books. You know, like last week, I think I went to the movies like 5 times last week or something crazy. like, but it's not always that often. But like I watch movies at home and out like other people read books. Like that's my picking up a book. I'm gonna go watch a movie. Like that's that. If there's one thing about me, I'm gonna go watch a movie. Like that's why this exists. But before we get too off track, let's do the same thing with music for you. So like, when did music become capital M music for you? Like, was there like I always think of that as like, when did it go from becoming like a passive thing in the background to like a, not even so much you wanting to make it, but just like you being fascinated by music?
I feel like it's always been a part of me. So like culturally, like in New Orleans, a lot of stuff is like surrounded about like around music. We have like carnival, and we have Mardi Gras. So like we have like a lot of traditions that are centered around music. So like I'm a part of like masking tradition. So I learned like a lot of music that's just specifically for that. When I was younger, it's something like you always grew up around. Now, when it came to like rap music, I feel like I can't really say, like, I was like, I don't know why I was really so drawn to rap, but it's like I would hear stuff like I said, kind of with the like earlier when we were talking about like Downton Abbey, like I like to hear snappy shit. So it's like I would hear like having a lot of older siblings. I remember hearing like a Big L freestyle. One of my older siblings was playing it. And I'm like, oh, this nigga really cutting up. Like, what is this? And just being so drawn to it. I'm like, or hearing Lil Wayne like really rap like for the first time, like when he was younger. I'm like, oh, he has this one. What is the name of the song? I feel like the name of the song is I don't know if it's like Want War or something like that. I can't think about it. But like I remember hearing that song and I'm like, oh, he is really going off. I think that's the thing that fascinated me so much about like rap, even though like I kind of just always love music, but like about rap music, it's like I love hearing people talk shit. Like anybody that knows me know I love to talk shit. Like I can talk a ton of shit. And that was the thing that like attracted me to rap music, even though I don't necessarily talk shit in my music. I love hearing people talk shit. And I'm just like, oh, he's really talking that shit. Like,
yeah. The song you're talking about, I'm sorry to cut you off. The song you're talking about was You Want War from The Block Is Hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't think about the name, but I remember like hearing that from the first time. Like, oh, he ran that shit. I'm like, yeah, I gotta play that back. You know, but I love hearing like them talk shit, because he say some shit about like how the niggas jealous of the sparkle on his necklace, or like with Big L used to talk so much shit. I'm just like,
oh my god,
yeah, like it was one, I don't know if it was like the 96 or 97 freestyle. It's one freestyle he's doing, and I remember like the first time I heard that, I'm like, oh, he really going in. Like I love this man. Like, and I think that's like really when it started to click with me. Like I wanted to rap, or like I liked hip hop, was when like I really heard how people really just use it to stunt. I mean, that's just a part of like everybody loves to stunt. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I love this. Like they stunting, they talking their shit. And that's really what drew me in. I can't really say like I had this moment to where like I had an epiphany with just like one artist or one song where I was like, oh, I know I'm gonna just start rapping. I think it was like one of those things to where like I listen to music just because like I'm a collector of like a ton of different things. I like to collect stuff, where like I just started to like collect all this music. Then it led to me like dating rappers. Like I took the collection, like the obsession, like farther, and like I like pretty much spent like my whole like teenage years like dating guys that rap, and kind of just seeing what they do, you know. Like it's like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna up the ante and like add to my collection. And then like finally I was like, I read so much, I write so much like for work and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm gonna just try to rap. Like I'm gonna just start rapping. It's something like I always did for fun, but I'm like, I never really tried to do it. I just kind of, started doing it. Like
right.
I talk shit.
Yeah. No, you talk shit, and well too. Like so I mean like that to me, like that's like that would be around the time when you decided that like rap was going to become more than just a hobby, and it was a thing you were going to like actively pursue, like around, because I mean like I know you have a lot more music than I think I've even heard, like even going like further back into your SoundCloud. But when did you, like, do you remember like exactly when you first decided like I'm gonna do this?
Oh, it probably wasn't too long ago, because I have been making music for like for a long time, for many years, but I did it just to play. Like I have a lot of nerdcore music, and I have like a lot of shit. Like I think when I really was like, oh, I could probably make music seriously, was maybe like a little bit before COVID. I made like a Sailor Moon song. Like I was being stupid because I cosplayed. I made like this like Sailor Moon rap, and it went viral on TikTok, and everybody kept like being like, you need more music. Like I went to like your SoundCloud, like why you only got like 2 songs? Like I need more music. And I never really thought that people were checking for my music. Even now, like I have like a little small following, but like people, like they wanted more, like people were reaching out to me and stuff like that. So I've always been with that community. I think for me, it was, like I said, it was at that moment when I realized, oh, people, like, especially like a lot of girls, they want to hear different things. And like, they're asking me about it. Even if it's only like 10 of y'all, it's like, y'all relate to this and it make y'all feel good. And it gave me like a little push to take it more serious, because for making music, I taught myself everything. So like I taught myself like pretty much like the baselines of doing everything, and I make my own music. But it was really just seeing that like other girls, like there were other girls on the internet like gravitating towards this, and just I made them feel good. So I'm like, oh, if I can make you feel good, I want to keep doing it. And I think that's when I was like, well, maybe I could do it. Like I know a little bit more about it. And now it kind of works, because like I'm more involved like in my community with like music and cultural things. But when it first started out, it was because of nerdcore. I could really say that, because even though I had been like making other types of music, I experiment a lot like with like the styles of hip hop that I'll choose to make. But it was with nerdcore music, because that was the community where people would constantly come back and be like, oh, I want to hear you rap like you're this person or this character. Like, you know, they constantly come back to me. They always do it. And I think that's what encouraged me to be like, I'm gonna just keep doing it and get more serious and try to like be consistent with it, because, you know, people want to hear different points of views. And I know that sounds like, I feel like if you're not into like anime or like into fandoms, it's like, who the hell wants to hear that? Like nobody wants to hear you rap like you're an anime character. But I feel like for that community, it's like, you know, since it is so small and niche, and like especially like with women, it's like they really liked it and they were drawn to it.
Right. Yeah. No, and like that's important, because like I mean, like I feel like it feels so obvious to say, but there are so many women who love anime, who love rap, who love like everything weeb, everything nerddom, fandom, whatever, you know, like y'all exist. There are a lot of y'all, and y'all deserve to have that stuff. You deserve to have that stuff, you know, like, because like that, you know, like you like talk about nerdcore, like that, you know, like in that particular like crop of like rappers, there's like the only woman I could think of who was in there at a given time was Samus. And you know, and like she was, and like she's I know she's like a college professor. Shout out to Samus, by the way. We haven't talked in a minute, but she's amazing. I love her. You know, like but like there was a period of time where like she was it. It was just, you know, her. Like at least on like the level that she was at, you know. But like it's just important to have that stuff, because people like it, you know. Like even like a couple weeks ago, I had my man Novelist from Detroit on here. Him and he like, you know, like he kind of positions himself as like a nerdcore rapper kind of, and like and like a good chunk of his songs are him rapping from the perspective of anime characters. Like he has a song series called Tales of a Samurai that's all about him rapping from the perspective of different samurai characters, you know, like that's his whole thing. You know, so like if he can do it, so can you, you know? Like,
yeah. And that's one of the things I feel like, you know, I felt like the first time too, like I remember like running across Samus music. I'm like, oh, this is so dope. Like I had to still be a teenager. I'm like, this is tight that she's doing that. But I didn't give it any like thought, but I'm just like, damn, that's so tight. But like now looking back, since you brought that up, yeah, she was the only girl in the game that I could think of doing it. And now like I'm starting to see there's more artists, smaller artists that are getting into it. And it's really cool, because it's like I feel like it's one of those things to where like, men, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, you know. And I hate to say it that way, because like y'all really can, but it's like I think like sometimes like women, they deal with like a lot of insecurities. It's like you don't like know how you're gonna be judged. But I'm one of these people, like I'm loud, so it's like I don't give a fuck. Like either you're gonna like it or you're not gonna like it. I don't really take stuff too personal, but like I do like how everything is going. Like even like it's stuff like I can't say like I'm the biggest fan of like Megan Thee Stallion, but I love like that she could just do whatever she wants to do, and like whatever she's into at that moment, it's like she like whatever, like you know. And I feel like we need more of that, even if it's like you're just getting into it, or it's like you don't know everything about it. It's like I feel like it's good for everybody, because we really just didn't have it. And like when I started to make nerdcore like music, I really didn't know what it was. It's like that community found me and told me this is what you're making. Like you are a nerdcore artist. You don't know what the fuck you're doing or what you got here. And like they were like so supportive, and they are still some of my like biggest supporters. So like a lot of my music is like from the like it's a Lupin the third Fujiko Mine perspective, because it's like I'm like, damn, I didn't really know people like this, or they wanted to hear this. Like, it's a bunch of people that want to hear like stuff from this perspective. And it's just a whole, like, it's like a whole world out there. When I discovered it, I was like, damn, like, I didn't know I was missing out on all this.
Right. And you're like that's even more special because like you were already doing it. Like, you know, like it wasn't like you found this and it's like, oh, I found myself. Like you were already you, and you found this little pocket of people who were on the same type of time as you were. And I'm happy you brought up Meg, because I mean, like I've been a Meg Thee Stallion fan since like Tina Snow, which is still her best tape. She hasn't surpassed it yet. I have a lot of complicated feelings about Meg's music, but I love Meg. I think she's great. I love, and I love the fact that she's at this point now where she can go host like Crunchyroll Awards and like bring in like Japanese rappers to come and rap with her about shit, and that she can be Todoroki Tina, like there was nobody at her level who was like doing that. And like now, like she's arguably one of the most famous rappers or entertainers really on the fucking planet. So like the fact that that's who she is and that's who she chooses to be is like that's so inspiring, and it's going to inspire even more people. Like I mean, like especially Black girls, like Black women. Like that's like we need more of that. Like that's such a net positive, and like. And like the thing, like the thing about your music that I enjoy so much is that like, like you don't lose yourself, but you go, like you can do all sorts of things. You can rap about luxury shit. You can rap about sex. You can rap about different people from different perspectives. And like you're, like especially early on with like a lot of your singles, you were like jumping around between these, you were just like jumping around between these different styles. So like, like walk me through, so like you put out the song, it goes up on TikTok, people are telling you need more. Like walk me through making more songs and like finding the confidence to really like become Countess, like
I feel like I have no clue. I feel like I've always had the confidence, like, because rapping is just so like I woke up one day and I knew I could rhyme. Like it was something that I always could do. Like I would always play with my friends who would rap and stuff like that. But I cannot stay on beat. It's because like I think that the music that we have down here has like, I don't know what it is. Like I don't know if it's an extra beat or what, but a lot of the stuff like I grew up hearing, like even now, like I know Rob 49, he just said that, like he was like, I think I'm on beat, but like a lot of the music down here is like that. So for me, it was figuring out like how the fuck I'm gonna say all this stuff I'm trying to say in flow. I felt like I had the confidence, but like I had to learn how to like really put that to real music and take it out of like just like a organic environment where I'm inside. But a lot of it was just really like, it was just from me watching stuff or being like, oh, I want to do this. Like I make a lot of like shout out to my homegirl Vic. She makes these bounce. She takes like anime beats and she puts them on. She mixed them with like New Orleans bounce music. So it's like we have like these anime songs that are just like ghetto ass, like raunchy New Orleans bounce songs, but it's all about like anime characters. I think it's one of those things because it's hard for me to really stay focused. So when I started to put music out, it was like I really, it's just like I feel like my SoundCloud in particular, you really can see how I grew. And it's like me teaching myself to rap different ways and like to breathe, or like how am I going to master like talking about different things, because like I do love to talk about like luxury things. That's a part of my personality. But like I'm like sometimes I want to be funny or sometimes I want to be stupid, so it's just like I love my SoundCloud because it's like a time capsule of just like everybody can go and experience my personality. Like if you're not in my close friends and you don't get to hear me rant, it's like you can go and just like pick up all these different pieces of my personalities. And I want to be like open, like, and have something for everybody too. So it was one of those things. So I'm like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe like I'm over my head or like I'm feeling myself, but I'm like, oh, I can do anything. Like at this point right now, like right now I'm teaching myself how to sing, like opera sing. And I'm like, in like a year, I'm gonna be like the greatest opera singer. So like it was kind of like that with rap music. I was like, I'm gonna just teach myself to do it and just like go through the motions until I figure out like what's gonna be my sound, but also too I just want to feel different stuff, and I want people to come and like be able to experience so much different things. And like I feel like anime has always been like the center of that, and like just animation, I feel like I connected to music because music is so animated in a certain way.
Yeah, easy. And like listening to your stuff, there's never been a time where I have a lot of complicated feelings about the word offbeat and like what it means to be offbeat, because so many people are used to like it's got to be like da 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 da. You know, it's gotta be like so like rigid and like at this point in my life, I'm so used to listening to rappers in particular like play around with meter and not necessarily like fit all the syllables into 4 bars, you know, like shit can kind of spill over. It's really just about like whether or not it sounds good. Like there are some rappers who will like rap a whole bar and it'll go like 2.5 bars,
Right.
you know, like and it'll just spill and it sounds cool because they just freaked it and it sounds good, you know. And like there's never been a time where like there are certain rappers who like legitimately can't find their place in a beat and like they have no flow. Like it's not like you have no flow, you
Yeah.
know, like you said, you're just used to rapping, you're used to rapping a little bit differently. And like y'all just like, like y'all music just has a little bit like a little bit more going on in it that makes it a little more interesting to kind of like fit in. Like and I'm not saying any of this to be like, oh, it's different, it's weird, like because I love it, I think it's great. But like you said, it is cool to kind of just go through this time capsule and see like all these just like see all these different phases, because you know like a song like Game Boy doesn't sound anything like Zirconia, and Zirconia doesn't sound anything like Type B, you know. And like for me, when I first started to notice that you were kind of starting to like embody a persona outside of like the Fujiko song, like that's specifically about that, like the one that really got me was Magic Trick. Like that's the first one where it's like, oh, you know, like maybe you're really starting to like form a character here and like try to rap from a perspective that isn't necessarily tied to like an explicit character that's already been created. So I want to focus a tiny bit on Magic Trick. Like talk to me about how it was made, where the idea came from, like who made the beat. Like talk to me about Magic Trick, because I love that song.
Oh, that's so tight that you love that song. So my homeboy, he makes a lot of my beats. His name is Fry. Fry is like an amazing producer. We've been friends since we were in high school, and I feel like he was like the first producer that like gave me a beat that might like fit into my personality. Like I feel like I have a ton of different personalities, and it's so hard. Like I feel like I feel like I'm stroking my own ego with what I'm about to say, but like I'm very versatile and I'm into like a bunch of different things. I could go from like anime, but I'm also very into like spiritual stuff. I'm not like a gypsy bitch or nothing like that, but like, or like one of those like, oh, like I'm earthy, but like I'm very into spiritual stuff, just like from a cultural point of view. And I'm very into like witchcraft. And like I really, really just love like I do love like to have like a gold digger persona. So like with Magic Trick, it was me blending like this part of myself, like this darker part of myself. Because all my music, I do feel like it fits into like these different personas that I have. But it's just like a darker part of myself and taking stuff from like a different, I don't want to say like point of view of me, but just like sometimes I just get into these moods and it's like I'm like, oh, I want to be devilish. I want to fuck over a nigga, even though like I never fuck over my nigga, but like I used to like be this certain type of person where like I feed off of like just being like a little bit of devious. And so like with that type of music, like Magic Trick, it's just me like I'm like, I'm about to talk this shit. I finally found somebody who can give me like what I'm looking for out of beats. Cause like I like drums and stuff, but like I love like a lot of, and that like even with that song, that's a Lupin sample. I love like I'm looking for a certain sound, and I felt like, man, like Fry always gives me like that certain sound. Anytime he sends me a beat, I'm like, oh man, I know I can do something different, and it gives me room to be like a little bit more creative and show more parts of like my personality. So like I'm really, really into magic, like whether it be like I said, like witchcraft or like religion wise, I do practice voodoo and Catholicism. And also too, I love David Copperfield, like David Blaine. I remember seeing David Blaine like pull his heart out his chest. I'm like, this is just so cool. Like I used to love those type of shows. So I'm like, it'll be cool to like incorporate all of this and put this into like a song. Cause it's like who's talking about like magic? Like this is a song. Like I'm a magician. I'm about to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Like
that's so fun. Yeah, nah, cause like you know, like you bounce from that to like you just go all over the place, and like not to say that there's no pinning you down, because it's like very clear that like it's very clear it's you. You know, it's not it's not like every song sounds so different that I can't tell that it's you, or that you sound like you're trying to do something that's like out of your reach or out of your range. But like, you know, like you make a song like Magic Trick, and then, you know, like I think a song that really exemplifies all the different things you're talking about is like Return of the Black Madonna. You know, like I remember when you put that song out and just like seeing the picture, you know, like the image of you and like you in the robes and the image is like it's giving like tarot card. Like it really does look like something religious or spiritual, like a votive candle or something, you know, like it's very much like that. And to see you like lean into these things that you like, it's just a reminder that like even a song like Magic Trick that's very much like obviously it's exaggerated and you're playing a character, but like, you know, I love, once again, I'm happy that you brought up the whole aspect of the SoundCloud being a time capsule, because it really is like, these are all pieces of you. And like, even though Con Art, which we'll get to in a second, is like your first like official project, like you could take all of those songs and just have them be a collection of like, this is me figuring out who I am, or not even figuring out who you are. This is me figuring out how to put these aspects of me into a song. Like, you know, like the devious shit, the sexy shit, the thieving shit, the Madonna shit, the spiritual shit, the voodoo shit. Like it's all there, you know, and it's just like it's like a mosaic of like, this is Low, this is Countess, and like that's, I don't know, like I'm sure, you know, like it's like, it's just funny when stuff happens like that, because like I'm sure you weren't out here like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have every single one of these songs, like, I mean, maybe you were, you know, but it's cool that it worked out that way. However you thought about it, but
yeah, I don't think I put like so much thought into it. I feel like putting thought into my music is something that's like brand new for me. It's something like I've recently started to do. It's just like I really just wanted to, like, I'm like, man, I want to get this rap off. I'm gonna make this song on my laptop and I'm gonna just put it out there and somebody's gonna like it, you know. But I do think like it does, like you said, like it's very interesting in its layers. And like I put out a project before I put this one out, but it was mixed so fucking bad. It was so trash. It was probably some of like my best raps. So like I mixed it so bad, and like then I broke the laptop, and so I don't know what it's at. Like it's lost in history somewhere. But like it was just mixed so fucking bad. So it's like I don't know where it is now. But I did want, before like I moved in, because like I jump around so much. Like now, like I'm working on like making music in Louisiana Creole. I'm working on a Star Wars project. It's like, I'm like, man, before I start to like just get distracted, like you can tell from my SoundCloud, I get distracted a lot. I'm like, I really just need to put something that like I could put down and everybody, like you say, can kind of pinpoint, this is like one of, like, this is like my sound. Like, this is me. This is kind of like, you can pick up all these different references and stuff like that, but this is just like a little piece of me. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with that project. I have a short attention span too. So it's like, I'm like, I don't want to make this shit too long, because I know I can't sit down and listen to long music. Or like, even with movies, as much as I watch movies, it takes me like a week to watch one movie. I'm gonna pause it and like go do stretches or something like that. I go like pet the cat and then I'll come back 30 minutes later. So like, I didn't want it to be too long. I just wanted people to be able to like sample me. Like, if you are interested, you know, like a little sample.
Yeah, and yeah, that's one thing I completely glossed over. So like, you mix all your music.
I mix all my music.
That's fire. So like, was that something that you did? Like, what, like, is that something you were teaching yourself like at the time when things were really starting to come together? Or is that recent?
No, I've been teaching myself. I feel like sometimes my music is, I mix it so good and I'm like, yes, I fucking killed this. And other times I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I wanted to teach myself. I've been like, I feel like depending on my equipment, because I fuck up laptops a lot, but when I have like very good equipment, I can really mix music really well. But I wanted to teach myself how to do it because I didn't want like my music to be reliant on anybody else. Like I wanted to, like, when I got the feeling to do it, or if I wanted to record something stupid, I'm like, I want to really just be able to have like my own little setup to be able to pretty much just like record whenever I want to, play with music, because like I make a lot of music that I don't put out, and like I'm just like trying to play with and like develop different sounds. I always wanted to be able to do that without having anybody. And also too, because my voice is so fucking obnoxious to me, I like to hear it. I like to keep it at a certain like tone. And One of the things I notice is when people mix my music, if they don't really know me or like if they don't spend enough time with me, they put like a lot of reverb behind it. And I hate that shit. I know some people, it works. Reverb, like it works for some people, but for me, like even right now, like my apartment has high ceilings. So like I know you probably hear me echoing. I hate that shit. I don't want my song to sound like this. I hate that. Like,
Yo.
so I'm like, I'm gonna just mix my own music because I kind of like my music to sound like a cassette tape too. So to everybody, I know, yeah, it may come off like this isn't mixed well, but like I'm purposely going for that type of sound because I like it. I just think that like music doesn't have to sound like crystal clear or like have all this like these filters and stuff on it. Like I just want you to hear the song and it to sound how I like because it's my music. So I know I do struggle with that. I'm like, oh, maybe people don't pick up to it because it's not mixed like quote unquote properly. But also I feel like that, unlike that feral sound is like a part of like my music, you know.
Yeah, it gives it like a vintage feel. Like you even look at a song like Eye for Eye, like that really does feel like it came off of like it feels like it came like off like a funk compilation tape from like 76 or some shit, you know, like really some like super duper obscure blaxploitation movie and somebody just found it and it's like, bam, here it is. And when did that come out? Last year. Like, you know, so yeah, I mean, like, I like as somebody, I hate the sound of my own voice too. Like, it's really difficult for me to edit myself because like I sound differently in my head than I do when I like go and record and it comes up and I'm just like, I feel like I sound like real nasally and I'm just like, I don't sound like that in my head. So it's just like, you know, like it took me years. I mean, literally, like I used to sing and all this shit. Like it took me years to get over like hearing my voice play back and not hate it, you know, like especially as somebody who like does very low key mixing on my own vocals. Like it's I get you. It can be really difficult, just like just being like, man, like my voice can it's like grating to me. So you know, like it's like I gotta like fight my bass impulses. I feel you 100%.
The same, and I'm the same way. I'm just like, oh, it's okay, you know. Like I feel like I mastered my voice though, and I just feel like other engineers like really haven't, like they haven't done that for me. So it's like I'm like, it's okay. I know it's some stuff I don't know yet. Like I know I'm like I probably need to throw like a de-esser or some shit on my music, but it's like I'm like I like this sound, and I think like for me, I make music. Like foremost, I've always done it for myself, and like I get the instant gratification from just like making it and hearing it myself. And I think like that's why like I'm so comfortable with it not necessarily being like what like right now it's like the standard of like how stuff should be mixed, because it's like I just don't feel like that fits my aesthetic. Like I've heard myself mix that way, and I'm like, this, I don't know, it's just not me. Like, but I'm sure like the more I grow with it, like I'll figure out how to make it even more like up to par, but still keep all those elements as well. But I think I do like an okay job. It's okay.
Yeah, I like it personally. Like I like your voice. I think your voice sounds great. So, you know, like I just I get it, you know, like it's like real difficult to have to deal with that, and like getting used to it takes a long fucking time. And, you know, like nobody knows your voice better than you. It's your voice. Like you hear it in your head, you hear it play out on a track or like in whatever software you use to like punch it up or vocal mix it and all that shit. So I get it, you know, like what and it's for you. You said that too, you know, you make it for yourself, and if people like it, fuck it, you know. So I mean, like I feel like we touched on this a little bit before, but you know, like you put all this music together and, you know, like short attention span and whatnot, it just kind of bops around all over the place. Eventually you do decide like, hey, it's time for like you know, like this project is like barely 10 minutes long. It's 5 songs, like 5, 6, 7 minutes long, but like either way, like it's a project, it's mixed to your satisfaction, it's out on DSPs, you can listen to it, other people can hear it and live with it. So like, why was now the time to put out a piece like Con Art?
Because I'm transitioning again. I feel like I changed so much. Like I said, I'm working on more cultural things, like for my own community. And like I said, I'm about to teach myself how to sing opera music. So like, I'm really about to move on to doing something crazy, because I don't know why. I have like like I said, I probably need to go get like diagnosed. But like I moved from stuff so fast, but I didn't want to lose sight of what I really love before like I go and teach myself how to do something else. I'm like, man, I never put out a project of just like straight up just like me rapping. That's something that I wanted to do too, because like I feel like the last year or so I've been putting out music with like hooks in it. And I'm like, I really just love to just like rap straight through. I just want to just rap and talk shit. So I was like, oh, I have like all these little tiny songs of me just like talking shit and running through. Because I love that. That's one of the things like I love and like I look forward to listening to. Like when I'm listening to rappers, is I don't really care for hooks all the time. So it's like I love when like rappers can just, even if it's a 1 minute song, like you can carry a whole rap through for a minute. Like, and I'm like, I just really want to put this out there because I feel like it's a lot of people who do enjoy hip hop who just want to hear you rap. They don't want to hear you sound like, oh, like sexy or cute, or they don't want to hear like no like hook or no repetitive shit. Like they want to just kind of hear a rap. And I know I like that. And it's just like, since I say like I make a lot of stuff for me, it's also to like a timestamp for me. Like, but now it's just more readily available. It's different from the SoundCloud because like anybody can find it anywhere. But also like as I move on and put more out, it's like I can see all the little phases that I went through. Like, oh, in 2024, I was rapping. Now, like it's 2027. I'm an opera singer. I'm lying. I'm not gonna learn how to sing opera. Maybe, I don't know. It's something that's been in my head lately because I enjoy opera. So maybe I don't know. I might teach myself how to play the violin, but I do feel like I'm transitioning like into just wanting to learn more things and do more. But I don't want to leave like rap behind because that's always going to be important to me, and I'm always incorporated and stuff. So I'm like, man, before like I start rapping in Louisiana Creole, let me like really put out a real like project so that I have like a base of where you could start before you get too lost like into like just the other crazy shit that I do.
Right. And like you can tell, like just talking to you can tell how important the rap shit is to you. And like as somebody else who loves it when people like when people just rap straight through a track. And like I love this dude from New York. His name is K Supreme. Like he's really crafty because like he'll make a hook, but like the hook will just be like rapped straight the way through, and like you'll hear it pop up like the second time, and it's like, oh, that's the hook. Okay, like like it doesn't have to necessarily be sung. And like like I'm the like I want to hear raps. Like that's me most. But like I love singing vocals. I also like opera. Like I love music, but like raps the bass. So it's like I that's always what I'm looking for too. And it's just nice to see it come in this little like 5.5 minute package of you just like putting these little vignettes together of, like it's like this is I mean, considering the project is so short, it's really easy to just like sit with and like go through and just take it all in. Like, like even just like listening to 237 or like Diamond Doris, like I think Diamond Doris might be my favorite song on this project. It's and it's because of what we were talking about before, like I don't know, like you just like you fit here, you belong here. Like this is what I I didn't like I don't want to say I didn't know what to expect from this, but like this is basically what I expected from this, and I got exactly what I expected. And that's not like, there are times when you can get exactly what you expect and be like bored by that, but I just really enjoyed this and I thought it was cool, and like I hope like whatever happens, I do hope you stay here, and I hope that you like continue to evolve. And just like it's really cool that you're already thinking about doing other shit and not necessarily being pinned in like not even just like different types of music, but like different types of rap. Like you can do anything really, like all of us are capable of just like deciding one day like I want to do this instead, and I think I think you shuffling the pieces around a bit now is a good indication of it's like you're like training people to expect you to not just do one thing all the time.
Yeah.
Which like it's fine if you want to do one thing all the time. like I could think of a dozen people that I love because they do one thing all the time. Like I love Boldy James for that. I love Currency. I love Spitter for that.
Yeah,
like that's what like to a certain extent, that's what I like Ice Spice for, you know, like I know what I'm gonna get from Ice Spice, you know, like even if I thought her new album's actually not that great, but like the songs that work. Well, yeah, they work. And it's actually funny I said that because I actually like the songs that move a little bit away from her established sound versus like the stuff that leans more on club than like hardcore drill. Like that's where like the Central C song's great. The fucking the Central C song is great. The song with Gunna on it is great. And like that's because see, I'm already counteracting my own point. but like up until this project, I liked Ice Spice because, you know, like I knew what I was gonna get. It was gonna be like silly, cute, fun, like and like she can rap well, so you know, like it's and yeah. Anyway, like
and that does work too. Like it's tried and true. I just think that like I'm like a little mental, so that's like I wanted to try to develop like a sound, but like I want to be this type of like person. Like I don't see myself really being a rapper. Like when I think about like what I see myself like as, I see myself like Eartha Kitt or Della Reese. Like these are the people, like I'm crazy. That's like I'm like these are my contemporaries. Like I'm like Eartha Kitt. Like so I think for me that's why I didn't want to put like myself into like a boxes because like my personalities jump around so much, like, you know, but I really want to be able to be like one of those type of ladies to where they were singing and like entertainers. They were great entertainers. I just want to be a great entertainer that can rap really, really good, like, and talk that shit. So I think that's why, like, I try to like, even though like in my head, like I jump around so much, I was like, I'm gonna just put all this stuff out there because I don't want to like get stuck in a box. I'm always so afraid of that. Like, I'm like, man, like I'm hoping, I'm like, I really, really hope somebody, like I can go viral. Somebody can hate viral me, like hate on me so fucking bad. Come on, give it to me. But also too, like, I like being able to just like kind of like pick up on certain people, like, because it's like I like culture. So it's like I like people who can pick up on like, oh, like she's talking about this, like why this bitch talking about this? Like, and she like, oh, she into all these different things. And I think that like I would get bored with it really fast if I had to like try to keep the same sound, even though I feel like I do have like my own sound. And it's like, you know, that's me. I try to like just move around with what I'm talking about, or like just with my beat selection and stuff like that. Cause you know, it's like I'm not signed to a record label. Like I'm not famous. So it's like, who's stopping me from doing all this stuff? Nobody. Yeah. I can do whatever I want to do. And
right.
Fun.
Yeah, no, like I said, and you're like training your audience to kind of expect that from you. And they want that. It seems like they want that from you. Like I want that from you. So, you know, it's you know, like and like you said, you don't, you know, like you're really not beholden to anybody, but like you and like the people you work with and the people you make music for. So as long as they're all cool, fuck it, you know, like this is, I mean, like this is something that like, you know, you have a career outside of music. And it really does seem like this is, I mean, like obviously you want to make some sort of go of this, but you're also doing this for fun, and that's great, you know, like and it's great that you're in a position that you can just do that. And you know, I mean, like I know you're not going to care about it either way because like fuck them, and that's just you. But it's I don't know. It's just cool as hell.
Never, you know, it's so weird. Like, but I don't feel like I've never really gotten any like negativity back from my music. Like how I thought, like when I started to put out music, I thought like I was going to get a lot of negative feedback. I feel like it's one of those things because like I feel like my crowd is so like curated and selected. Like even like the people like I kind of associate with, I feel like it shields me from like a lot of the hate that I could receive. Also, I don't fucking care. Like I'm the kind of person, I shouldn't be this way, but like I'll fight with you on the internet, and then it's like you said, like I go and I have to go, like, you know, I don't know, write a budget or something. So it's like it is one of those things. So like I don't really care if people don't like it, but I do feel like because like I have such good like energy around me, like I'm always protected from that, because it's like if it's something that you kind of just don't like, or like it's not your taste, it's never going to find you. That's another thing I like about my music. I feel like it finds the people who it's meant for. And like I would like for more people to hear it. Like, yeah, who doesn't want to, like, come on, like that's like an easy check. Fucking all right. Like who doesn't want to get on with their music? But it is one of those things where like since like I do have like an established like career and stuff like that, it's like it takes that pressure off of me of like, oh, I have to be so hungry with music, or like I gotta do stuff a certain way. Like now I gotta go make a twerking video because I need this shit to pop off. Like I know I don't have to do that. And like it allows me to just like, it lets people who would want it, it finds them. And I think that's beautiful because that's how I am with a lot of stuff. Like if it's something I'm into, it's gonna find me, I'm gonna find it. And I'm like, I love that. It's like, oh, you did your research.
It's like the Beast of the Southern Wild shit. Like that movie found you when it needed to find you. Even if it's not your favorite, it stuck with you and it made an impression. And like you put, like even if you didn't really start thinking about your music until now, like there's clearly a lineage and a reference pool that you're working from, and you like there's intention behind the stuff that you want to make, whether it's real life figures or figures from anime or cartoons, whatever, like there's like you have a sensibility, you have a perspective that you're trying to share, and you're at this point now where you may get to a point where like more people are going to hear that, and that's dope. I hope that happens for you. Like whatever happens next, I just hope you're happy with it, and it seems like you're happy with it now, so fuck it.
Yeah, I'm real happy with it, and it's just cool to see. Like it's all just like a very cool experience to just go back. Like I said, I love collecting things, and that's how I look at my music. It's just like I'm just collecting and putting together like this little like museum. And maybe one day when I'm a grandma, like I have my kids, my grandchildren getting lit to my bounce music or something. So it's real cool to keep it. But yeah, I love that. I love being able to use it to reference, and like I said, like a time capsule or a timeline. You can like reference and capture so much different little things in it. And every time I learn a new thing, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna figure out how to put this into a rap. Like
I love that. Like that's an inheritance worth passing down. I mean, like to go back to what we were talking about earlier, just like I don't know, man, like anime raps over Trigger Man breaks, like that's like I'm there, like that's so easy for me. Damn, I feel like we could sit here and talk for another 2 hours.
That's because we're friends though. So.
Yeah, but still, like this is man, like I wish we could keep going for another 2 hours. But Lo, if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
I don't know. If my life was a movie, it would probably be one of those fucking movies where like stuff is moving fast and you have a bunch of different characters. Like a nigga run out to the street, he get hit by a car, then he flips over, and then like it goes to like somebody on a bike, and like this person is on a bike and they're going to deliver newspapers, and like I'm making a movie right now. It would be something like that, like very, very just like fast moving, encapsulating like a lot of different stories within stories. I don't know. I feel like I know a movie that's like that, but I can't think about the name of the movie. But
yeah, there's one I could think of. It's funny enough. You're not gonna believe this. It's just called Run Lolita Run.
That's so funny.
Like the movie, the movie is like it's about one central story, but it's split. Like it's told from 3 different perspectives. Like the first third is from one person's perspective, the second's from it's not exactly what you said, because exactly what you said. There's an episode of The Simpsons called 22 Short Films About Springfield, where it's like a larger story happening in it, but it's all told in real time from the perspective of like 9 of the show's characters. Like it'll go from like Lisa getting some gum stuck in her hair and people trying to figure out how to get the gum out of her hair. I know exactly
what you're talking about. Yes.
and then it winds up with like Chief Wiggum and Snake getting caught up at the one-armed army man shop, like out of Pulp Fiction.
I was about to say that, like Pulp Fiction.
Like Pulp Fiction. That's
Fiction. That'll be the movie.
There you go.
But I know that episode too. That's a very I know exactly what episode you're talking about. Yeah, it would be like Pulp Fiction, like a lot of moving parts and different people and different stories and personalities.
That's fire, man. Like for people who may or may not know, I'm a huge Simpsons fan. I'm the nigga. I'm just throwing on The Simpsons. Like if I can't think of anything else to watch, that's just like my comfort show. So like I love that. That's yo, Lo, thank you so much. Thank you. This was really cool. Nah, yeah, for real. Like I'm just you know, it's like I said, I'm just happy to be in a position where I have like this little corner where I can like put on for people who don't have like the biggest platform on planet Earth. And like you're someone whose music I've admired for a minute. So when you asked, I was like, yeah, like not even, you know.
I appreciate that. And I've been wanting to ask. I was like, look, I gotta focus and like just really get my shit together. I'm like, before I be like, oh, come on, let's just talk about nothing.
But
No,
yo,
I
I'm
appreciate it.
nah, of course. Like, yeah, I mean, like in the next couple of years, if you wind up fucking around and dropping an opera album, come back and we'll do another one. Like,
I will. I most definitely will come back. I will drop that opera album.
all right, yeah, no, I'm a hold you to that. Don't.
Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.